Hello and welcome to my Ever Messy Art Studio. My name is Keeks and today we are going to be swatching gouache, which I thought would be pretty fun. So I've mentioned it before, but I used to actually have a different swatch journal and then I don't know what happened to it. It just like, whoop, went to Narnia. So I've been trying to look for it for about 6 months and I've decided that I should just give up and make a new one. So that's what I have been working on. I did get, this is one of my notebooks that was originally for my birthday from one of my friends, Megan. So thank you, Megan. And this is honestly just a drawing sketch pad, but you can do it with any kind of paper just as long as the paper is not going to be super leaky. I have been pushing this paper to its boundaries, I think, but I'm just doing it one page at a time. So instead of doing both pages like my other one, which was a mixed media book, one page, and it seems to be doing pretty good. So I'll show you what I've gotten done so far. So I did do all my inks, and I went ahead and named my inks because not all of my bottles actually have their names on them. So this is going to be super helpful in me trying to figure out what the heck I'm using. So I've got my Ferris wheel press inks here, I've got my Kuritakis here, and I've left room in case I need to add more. These were my Winsor & Newton inks. More Winsor & Newton inks. And then afterwards we went into watercolors. So this is my Artist Toolkit by Rosemary & Co. So this was my palette that I made using the Paul Rubens tube watercolors. So I re-swatched those and got those in there. And then this is another gift from Megan. So she got me these awesome, they're watercolors, and they're the Pearl paint set. I think she probably got these on Amazon, and I did test them out. One thing that's an important thing to think about whenever you're using pearlescent paints is don't just swatch it on white. If you swatch it on white, you're going to be really disappointed because the colors are not going to be super vibrant, but you want to also swatch it on black, which what I do is I tape it off just using regular tape, some washi tape, and then I'll paint black acrylic paint on top of it, and then from there I just go ahead and swatch it. And so you can see now, you can see that compared to these, the ones on black are very vibrant. And speaking of this particular set, probably sometime next week I'm going to be painting something with those using both my new black mixed media paper from Winsor & Newton, as well as using the 100 Plants and Realistic Step-by-Steps book, Draw Like an Artist by Melissa Washburn. So that's something that I will be trying out next week, kind of seeing, you know, what different things I can get away with colorful watercolors, because I've always wanted to use sparkly watercolors in like a big picture or a big painting, but I haven't really had, you know, a project per se. So I think this is nice, plus I have the black paper now, and that's going to be great because I don't have to waste my acrylic paint on a whole piece of paper. So we'll definitely be doing that sometime next week. These are the Artistro watercolors. So I have my yellow box up here, and once again, because they are sparkly, I did it both on white paper as well as black acrylic, and this is my red box. I love this color palette. This color palette is very Asian to me. Very pretty. These are my Kuretake Gansai Tambis. Love those. Always a fan favorite. This is my Paul Rubens 24 set. And as you can see, even if it drips over a little bit, I'm not letting myself worry about that. Normally that would bother the heck out of me. But honestly, I just really miss having a swatch book to look at. That way I can just understand what the colors are going to look like when they dry, because it really bothers me just choosing colors without knowing what they are. So I've got that. This is my giant Teo tree set. I think it's 148 colors if I'm not mistaken. So this is like side 1 whenever you open the box up. And then this is side 2. Now side 2 from here down has glitter colors. So what I did is on the next page, I did the glitter watercolors on their own, And this page is a little messy. As you can see, it started out clean and then went messy because Ronan helped me, my son. He's 5, and he expressed an interest in wanting to help me swatch. So I said, sure, why not? So even though it's a little bit of a messy swatch, it's going to be super helpful, and I'm really thankful for him. And it was a really fun project to do together. And then this is my Paul Rubens Glitter 48 colors. So this is it on white. And the Paul Rubens are very saturated, like they're very good. So don't worry about it being light on white paper, because look at how beautiful they are on black. Like black is where your money shot is, so to speak. So today we're gonna start with gouache, and I do have some random gouaches from my sketch box that I actually got this past month. I've recently signed up for Sketchbox just because I love trying new art supplies, but it does get really expensive. So the Sketchbox I think is like $25 a month or something like that, and they give you so much. Like last time they gave me all of these gouaches, which includes a Holbein gouache, by the way, which Holbein is not cheap. And then they gave me a bunch of like watercoloring stuff and a new pencil for sketching. Like it was really cool. So I figured we'd start with that. Now normally I would use my cute little guy that I have, which I need to clean, so excuse him. But because we are going to be swatching so much today, instead I'm going to be using this painter's palette paper that you can get on Amazon. And you can get them in different sizes. So it's a toned palette paper. I'm trying to see if it has the company on oh, here it is. So this is the Gray Matters palette paper, and it's really great. I have used it in the past, and I actually got into using it because of Denise Love. She uses that for her palette papers, and I really enjoy it. So without further ado, let's get swatching. So the first gouache that I'm going to try out of my randoms is this Sketchbox signature gouache, and it says it's coral. So it says a more opaque watercolor loved by illustrators for its ability to lay down flat color, thin it out with water for more transparent washes. So let's go ahead and open it up. I've never opened this before. Whoa, there's some gouache stuck to this bottom of this paper. I don't want to lose any of it. And it does have kind of like an oily consistency in there, which I'm sure would be fine if you like shook it up a bit. Now, one thing I will say is from this side, it looks like this whole thing should be filled. About half of that is filled. So I'm going to lift it up to the camera so you can see. You saw me, I've never used it before, and they gave me about half. So I just want to point that out, that I'm not sure if it's just because this is a sample or if that's how they truly come, but this was not full. And I'm going to use some of this top rub off here. Ooh. Got something weird and crusty on my book. Get out of here. There we go. All right, I'm not going to put water on it. I just want to see what the full color is. So there we go. And we've got that one in now. Whew. Messy, messy, messy. All right, so these I will be squeezing out on the palette paper here. So we've got the Holbein gouache, that's the peony, and it's really, really small. So I'm gonna try to be very, very careful. Okay. I'm just gonna squeeze out just a wee little bit, not much. That way we can get an idea of what the color is. And it looks like it's going to be pretty true to color, because look at that packaging versus that little bit that I got there. It's pretty good. So let's try painting with it. My brush is wet this time because I just cleaned it. Ooh, that's a beautiful color. That is pretty darn true to color. Yeah, so that's pretty awesome. Very, very cool. What I might do is I see that there's a number written on here. So I'm probably going to go ahead and write that next to the peony. G8, 7, 2. There we go. So that looks really good. And then next we've got the Saviora Ferry. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that right. But we've got Ochre and Azul. Now these are a lot bigger, and I can tell that they're very full, just like the Holbein is. So these should be pretty great. So I'm just gonna open it. And I'm just gonna squeeze out a very little bit, like that. I always kind of think that these remind me of toothpaste, the way they kind of squish out. So let me get my brush clean. I'm just adding a little bit of water to it. Oh, very nice. Also very true to color, which is great because you never know with paint. So that looks pretty good together. So we've got that one. And then next we've got this blue. Now this blue's coming out a little oily. Look at that. So you want to mix it good. So let's try and get that mixed a little bit and see if we can help it out. So this one to me is darker than what the tube is saying. So let's go ahead and put it on white because it could just be because of the gray. No, I think that's definitely a lot bluer because on here, this blue looks almost like a powder blue to me. But as you can see, it comes out as a true blue or maybe even an ultramarine type blue. So always keep in mind, it's always a great idea to swatch because you just never know. Some artists I know will also put a little bit of paint on the cap up here. That way you can kind of tell. So like for example, if I was to take this Holbein and let's say that I wanted to do that, all I gotta do is just go over here and place a bit on the cap. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's a good way to kind of be able to see it on your caps too. So that's what I'm gonna do there. And because of the water, it's trying to resist it a little bit, but at least that little bit of paint will be there so I can see it next time if I need to. I'm gonna go ahead and do that to these two guys too. Let me go ahead and get a little bit of this yellow, put it right here. I don't need much, just a little bit, just enough to tell what the color is. But that way it'll just dry on the cap and you'll be able to see it. And there's a little indent here, so you're not really going to be causing a mess or anything by doing that. But that's also a good way to swatch. So if you're not someone who's keeping a book, you can just do it on the lid. So let me take a little bit of this. There we go. So then now that we've got those in there, all we have to do is dry. So give me a second and I will get that dried for you. Okay, and that should be fairly dry. Blue is not quite there yet, I don't think, because I think I've flubbed it on there a little tight, but the rest of these are okay. So I'm okay with that. If it smudges a little bit on this page, it's not going to bother me. Or I can always take a paper towel and kind of dab at it. But remember, it's water reactive, so if you're going to do that, do it with a dry part. Okay, now it's not really doing it. So I guess it was just that one little spot that I touched. So those are my loose leaf gouaches. So I'm going to go ahead and put those back in my drawer here. And then my next gouaches are the acrylic gouache. So this is the full color set. So it's gonna have your main colors in it. So your primary colors, which are the blue, red, and yellow, and then it's gonna have black and white. That way you can kind of mix these around and have fun with them. So let's go ahead Get those in here. I'm going to leave the rest of this page blank because chances are Sketchbox might send me more gouaches, and if so, I can just continue on this page. So I'm going to come over here. I'm just going to write Holbein acrylic gouache. Now with sets like this, you could just do, you know, all 5 colors and leave it at that, or you can also do some mixes. I like mixing the colors, but like I like mixing the purple and the, you know, I like doing all the colors really, but I like mixing the purple with the red and the blue, and then I like doing the green, or the green with the blue and the yellow, and then the orange. So, you know, just play with it, see what you like to do. What I'm probably going to do is first I'm going to swatch the regular colors, and then I will mix those 3 different ones together. I'm also going to mix the black and white to see what the gray looks like. So let's go ahead and write down what we're mixing here. So first we'll have red, yellow, blue, black, white, and then we'll do the mixes. So for 6, we'll do red plus blue. Bless you.
Thank you.
And then for 7, we'll do yellow plus blue. Eight, we'll do yellow plus red. I'm just going to keep it simple mixes. I'm going to try to do as close to half and half as I can. And then we'll also do black plus white. And for the last one, to make brown, supposedly you can mix red, yellow, and blue. So we're gonna try it. Red, yellow, blue. I think that should be pretty well good as it comes to swatching. So let's go ahead and start out with a little bit of red. And I have used these before, only once though. They seem to work out pretty well, but it is acrylic gouache, so it will definitely dry. So just be aware of that. Okay. So here's what I'll do. I'll do them in kind of a triangle pattern on paper. That way we can easily mix them, hopefully anyway. We shall do our best. So like I said, keep in mind this is not regular gouache, this is acrylic gouache, so it is definitely going to dry out. If you put it in a container, it's still not going to work out. You're best using just palette paper with it. Because you're not going to be able to keep it the way it is. So let's get a little bit of red first. there we go. That is our red. And I realize that these have more of a name to them. Like, for example, this is actually Carmine Red. But I'm not going to buy additional Holbein acrylic wash. This is all I really need, so I don't need to put those extra words in there. If it helps you out and if it messes with your OCDs, please feel free to make it as detailed or as not detailed as you want. So there's the lemon yellow. Blue. I'm going to skip the black and white for a minute because now I'm going to take a little bit of blue, I'm going to take a little bit of red, and I'm going to mix it together. And sometimes it does take a minute to get it mixed in all the way, which is fine. All right. And that is going to give us this very, very deep purple, which almost looks black, but it's not. So we've got that very deep purple. Rinse my brush. Then we'll take a little bit of yellow and some blue. Mix that together, and that's going to give us a nice bright grass green. And you can always play with the tones. Like, you can try, if you want to get even more detailed with it, maybe you put a quarter yellow and a bunch of blue, and that's going to make more of a blue or green. Or maybe you take just a quarter of blue and put more yellow in it, you're going to get more of a grass green. So you can definitely play around with these a lot and make a full-on color theory color chart if you wanted to. I'm gonna take that yellow again and some red, mix it together for some orange. And then I'm going to take all the colors. So I'm going to take yellow, red, and blue and mix it all up together and see what we get. That was not really a brown to me. That's more a weird green color, but we're going to use it. That could be an interesting shade that could be used. So now we've got all those guys. So we're going to move on to the black and the white. There we go. Trying to put them back in here to where they look kind of nice because I kind of like how they were all purty. All right, I'm just gonna stick that back in my drawer. And like I said, I don't really use the acrylic gouache that much. I think I like regular gouache better. But it was the first type of gouache that I ever tried because I didn't really realize there was an acrylic gouache. And so I just bought the cheapest thing because Holbein's expensive, as I found, and acrylic gouache was the cheapest Holbein gouache for sure. There we go. So we got black and white there, and then we're gonna mix them up. see what happens. Probably just gonna take a dab of black and dip it in the white. As you can see, the more black I get into it, the darker it is. So it makes a nice gray. Yeah, so that looks pretty good. All right, let me dry this and then we can move on to our next gouache. Let's see if that did the job here. Yeah, all right, cool. All right, so the next type of gouache I have is actually this one, which is the Caran d'Ache Genevieve. And I do actually have these swatched out on a swatch sheet. But like I said, I want all my swatches to be together. So I think that's very nice. Caran d'Ache always includes a swatch sheet no matter what their product is, which I absolutely love that. Yeah. Ooh, some of my things were trying to pop out here. This is what this palette looks like. And it originally came with a paintbrush. And then it also comes with some gouache white. So we've got that. And what I'm going to do is, just like my other ones, I'm just going to do it the shape of the palette. So let's go ahead and write down what we have here. Because if I already know what the box is, I don't really need to know the colors names. So we've got Caran d'Ache Genevieve. And this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 15 colors. 15 colors. And this is just gouache. 15 colors. I definitely just spelled gouache wrong. I have a hard time spelling gouache. Didn't spell it right there either. That's okay. We're gonna leave it. I know what I'm talking about. It's fine. So first we have white in the middle here. And then we've got 7 on each side. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. As you can see, my lanes are not exactly even, but that's okay. I know what I'm going for. And if you want to do them perfectly straight, more power to you. I have never been a measurements kind of gal. So let's go ahead and first start out with this white. So this white you can mix with any of them and it just makes it lighter. But this is a full tube of white. So I'm just gonna open this puppy up. Do a little bit of white here. Don't need much, because I will say these work a lot like watercolors. At least the Caran d'Ache ones do. They're not thick at all. They're just in those little pans. So besides this one, you don't really need to worry about it. So here's the white. Why is that not getting as white as I would like it? Might have had another color mixed on my brush there. There we go, that's a little bit better. All right, and then I'm just gonna go down the line here. So I'm just gonna scooch this over so you can see what I'm doing a little bit. Scooch this here. Scooch this here. I'm about to move my drink. There we go. And there we go. We're in. So let's actually use some clean water here. I've got 2 cups of water with me because the one thing that I believe about gouache is gouache definitely gets your water nasty. So I always start out with lighter colors and work to dark, and I know that's the opposite of what people tell you to do. They usually tell you to go dark to light with gouache. But you know, rules are meant to be broken, so it's up to you. But I like using lighter colors first for the simple reason that I don't like getting gross stuff in my colors. There we go. I mean, if a little bit mixes in there, that's fine, but I don't want to turn my yellows green. I definitely just did this backwards because I should have started with the blue. That's okay. As long as it's all on the same side, I don't really care. But look at how nice and smooth and creamy these get. They're very nice. And these are not opaque gouaches, or at least this one isn't. I would say that white is the most opaque because it's that tube one. But these colors I've found work more like a watercolor. But there's a little bit of transparency. And the tin, I don't know if I showed you this or not, but the tin that it comes in, it actually comes with like a little mixing tray. So you can definitely play with your colors too. And all you gotta do is just add water to it and it reactivates. We like it. Pretty blue. Oops, I'm slurping water all over the place. Pick that up so it doesn't mess with what's on the other side. That one looks like black. Yeah. It's interesting. Some of these are opaque, I guess, because that brown's pretty opaque. But I'm wondering if, like this red, it'll dry and then you'll be able to see through it. So that's the other cool thing about this, is you can just see what it looks like when it's dry and when it's wet. So that way you know if you're gonna have to like think about it differently, if it shows up differently when you're painting with it. Green. Got this green. Oops, yeah, a little bit of water in that. There we go. And this last one. Here we go. Mop up that water. There we go. And then what I'll probably do is, because I did this one backwards, I'm just gonna write backwards or switch, anything like that. That way it just reminds me. I mean, chances are I'm gonna see the yellow and I'm gonna be like, hey, you know what? That yellow doesn't look like blue, but just in case. All right, and then let me dry these. Okay, and those are now dry. Perfect. Okay, give me a moment. I'm gonna swap out my waters real quick because both of them are gross now. Which I knew this would happen. Like I said, with gouaches, you just want to be careful because they're always going to be gooey. Or not necessarily, maybe gooey is not the right word, but they're just going to be thick. They're thick boys. They got some thickness to them. So I'm going to put that back in my cabinet here. And I'm going to get out this one. Whoops. Okay. So these here are dried up, but if I add water to them, they should reactivate themselves. These are, which gouache is this? These are gouache, right? Hold on, let me look. These are, these are the Winsor and Newton ones. Okay, so this is the gouache that I have for those. I was like, what is that? So these are Winsor and Newton gouaches, and it's totally fine that they look like this. You should be able to just fix them. So I'm gonna swatch from here to here. So white all the way to black. And I'm just gonna put that this is my Winsor Newton 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 set. That way we can get those taken care of. So let me go ahead and just clean up over here a little bit because I've made a wee bit of a mess. And then I'm gonna get some new water, and we will go ahead and get those corrected. All right, so let's go ahead and get these marked down. So these are Winsor and Newton. And Newton. Ten. How was I writing these before? Oh, colors. And that is the gouache. Yep, still didn't spell it right. I'm never gonna get it right, man. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I know what that's in, and I'm gonna put yellow palette over here. That way I remember what that is, because at first I was like, what is this? You know, sometimes you just have stuff and you're not really sure where it came from, but it's stuff, you know. So let's try, ooh no, that's got blue in it still. We don't want that. Let's dry that up a little bit. So I'm kind of curious because, like I said, you're supposed to be able to re-wet these, and it's not supposed to be a problem. So let's find out. I'm just gonna get it nice and juicy. I might have to redo this white one because it's mixed, it's got blue in it. I'm just gonna put that there, and that looks like it's got blue in it because there was still blue on my brush, so I accidentally splotched it, but that's okay. As long as I get a general idea of what's going on. I'll try to clean that brush out really, really well. Okay. So let's try again. We're gonna do yellow this time. I'm just gonna re-wake it up. There we go, we got yellow. Okay. Orange. Ooh, that orange is not quite right. So I will say these gouaches are not my favorite. I am a sucker for buying new art supplies, so sometimes I will just buy stuff because I see other people using it. I'm like, I want to try, and sometimes it doesn't go well. And this is one of those cases where it's kind of like, There we go, that orange looks very good. That's like a vermilion. Next, we've got really, really red. This is gonna be probably more of a pinky red. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And then we've got blue. So I'd say next time I use this kind of gouache, I think I would use it fresh rather than letting it do this. Like, this is fine. It makes it watercolory, but it doesn't need to be that way. You can use it fresh and it's not gonna have this kind of problem. Here's another blue. Because right now it's working like a watercolor. So if you want that thickness to it, you don't need to let it dry. But I like watercolor, so I don't really have a problem with this. But you might. You know, toots off to you, whatever toots your horn. You know, you've got options. Got brown next. But it does just re-wakes back up. So it's okay that it looks gross in the pans. And it's okay that it's cracked and crusty. It's not gonna do anything bad. It just means you gotta mix more water in it. And eventually you could probably get it back to a decent consistency. It just probably takes more water, and I'm not ready for that patience yet. So it's okay. All right, so that takes care of our Winsor & Newton palette. Go ahead and close that up. And then I've got one more, which is my Hemi gouaches. Now that I'm not gonna be able to get the whole thing on the camera, am I? Let's see here, maybe if I turn this sideways and kind of scooch over some things a little bit, like that. Yeah, I can get most of it in the camera, so that's pretty good. These are starting to dry out. They were a jelly consistency, now they're not. So they do dry out after a while whenever you take those caps off of them, but once again, you just add water to them and they should wake right back up. So just give me a moment. It is going to take me a second because this is 48 colors. So what I need to do is I need to make 12 by 12 by 12 by 12 sections, and I'm sure you don't want to watch me make all those squares. So just give me a moment and I will take care of that for you. All right, and we are back. So all I've done is I've written that this is Hemi gouache, spelled correctly. 48 colors. And then I've got my 4 rows of 12 here. So I'm just gonna go up and down, and I'm gonna use my little squirt pen in here. That way I don't mix dirty water in there, because I have a feeling that stuff's gonna turn blue if I do that. So I don't want to get gross water in them. So I may start down here and work my way up that way, or I may just use the really clean water for the yellows and the whites. We'll just kind of see as we go how dirty the water gets. So I'm just gonna try activating everything. I'm just gonna activate one row at a time. And because this pen does not hold much water, so chances are I'll have to pause between each one and re-get water, which is fine, I don't mind. So I've just gone ahead and started it up by adding the water to it. And then I'm gonna get my brush clean here with my paper towel. My paper towel's all wet. Now, I will say something you can do is with any of this is as you're cleaning, if you're using a paper towel to clean your brushes off like I do, you can definitely use those as collage fodder. I know I've made some really pretty pink ones before. So if that's something you're into, I'm into it. You can definitely do that. Wow. Okay, so it's actually wet towards the bottom, so that's good. So we're gonna start with this first green. And this is also gonna really help because I do also swatch in my regular sketchbooks, but what I have a problem with is when I'm done with that sketchbook, I put it away and then those swatches are gone. So this is gonna help me just keep everything in one simple area. That's gonna be great. Great, great, great. Okay, so here's this one. Really pretty color. I like the Hemi gouaches. Out of all my gouache sets, these are the ones that I like the best. And I got the 48 color one, so that way I wouldn't have to mix a bunch of colors. I didn't think it was too bad. I got it on sale for like 30 something. That's not bad. But you know, it's kind of funny because people are like, is this real gouache because it's jelly gouache? I mean, whatever floats your boat, man. I think these are nice. Like, I really like these. And I really like how many colors they come with because I am not great at color theory. Color theory is somewhere that I struggle a lot as an artist with. So it's really nice when you get colors that are already, you know, with it, to where you don't have to do a lot of figuring out what to do. Now on occasion I do mix different colors, like I do like mixing the white with different colors to lighten them up, you know, or mixing different greens together, whatever. I'll do that on a separate palette. So I do enjoy doing that, but you know, sometimes it's nice to have your colors already there. I don't know if that makes me a lazy artist or what, but I just know that when I'm doing stuff, my biggest thing I need to work on is color theory. So whenever you get a palette that already has all those colors in it, it's very helpful to me. It's one of the reasons why for my birthday this year, I splurged and used my bonus on a bunch of pan pastel colors, because my thought was I never want to buy these again. Not because I don't like them, I love them, but because I want to make sure I have all the colors, and then if I run out of a color, I can just, you know, go with it. So that's kind of my idea anyway. Other people may think differently, but that's just what works for me, is already having a bunch of colors. This is working out really nicely. That water really helped, because it gave the gouache back some of its jelliness. So it's nice. So even if you open up your gouache and it's like all crusty and dusty, totally fine. All you gotta do is just add water. And as you saw, all I did was sprayed it with just this little pen, which just has this little container in it of water. So all you need is just to add that little bit of water back and your gouache is good to go. Now don't oversaturate it, because if you oversaturate it, your gouache is going to mold and you don't want that to happen. But otherwise it works out pretty well. And I, so far, fingers crossed, have not had any problems with moldy gouache. Whew. Gosh, I do not want to see the day when that happens. So, you know, just do your best. Be patient with these things. Take time, you know, and do it the right way. But like I said, if you open it and it's all crusty and dry like this, it's totally fine. It will reactivate. Like, don't go out and buy another set or think that you've wasted your money or anything, because that's one of the beautiful benefits of gouache, is it's already the way you need it to be. There we go. This is going really well. So in this set, there's two whites. There's regular white and titanium white. I don't really notice a huge difference with it. The titanium white is definitely more white, I guess. But both of them work really well with mixing. I've used both of them for mixing. So I just kind of take turns with each pan and do it that way. You might be different. Like, you might be like, no, I need that titanium white, or no, I'm okay with regular white. You know, don't make it too hard. This time I didn't spray it. I'm just going to see what happens with a wet brush, just to kind of experiment a little bit as we're going along. Because it's funny, these look dry, but I don't think they are. And that little bit of water on my brush is really helping. But yeah, I love the color spectrum of the Hemis. I think it's awesome. And to some people that may be a little overwhelming, but they do make smaller sets. So you do not have to go out and buy a 48 color one. You don't need to be me. Buy what you need. That's all you need. I was actually watching, I wish I could remember what her YouTube channel is. It's like the purple something. I'll go back and look for her. And I'll CC her on my video. But she was talking about how she had so much art supplies that she just wasted her money on. And I've definitely had problems with that too. I honestly now just go for the good stuff, because the cheap stuff only pisses me off, if I'm honest, because then it doesn't work the way that I expect it to work, or it's like not vibrant, maybe it's not opaque enough. So I go ahead and splurge and just buy the nice stuff when I can, and it lasts a long time. That's the thing. Like, even little small things like that little thing of Holbein, that'll probably last me a while. Well, probably because it's an odd color anyway, so I probably won't be using that color a super bunch, but you know, like, as long as you're like paying attention to how much you're using and rationing it a little bit, you shouldn't have that many problems with it. That's one of the reasons why I was okay with buying those pan pastels for my birthday, because even though they cost an arm and a leg, like, they're gonna last forever. Like, I don't know if you guys watch Dee Dee Willingham or not, or really any artist that uses pan pastels, but they'll tell you they last for flippin' ever. The only thing that I don't like about them is they do get powdery at the top after a while. And you can't stop them from doing that, because the way that they're baked in, you know, it just happens. But if they do become all powdery or separate or anything, you can still use them just regular. They just require a little bit more cleanup, and that's about it. But I have been really enjoying my pan pastels lately, because I like working with pastels, but I don't necessarily enjoy the oily feeling of them. Like, I have some Paul Rubens ones that they're wonderful pastels. They're beautiful. But I hate using them unless I'm wearing gloves, because I cannot stand touching oily things. Like, it just icks me out beyond reason. So it's nice to have that alternative option. Plus, pan pastels have been around for a really long time. So I feel like they're really trusted by artists, and I think that's really important, because if you're buying like off-brand stuff, you know, you never know what you're gonna get. Whereas I can type in pan pastels right now and get like hundreds and hundreds upon videos that I can just watch and watch and watch. And, you know, that tells me it's a good product. Everybody's trying it, everybody's using it, everybody's liking it. You know, do your research before you get things. And, you know, sometimes you just gotta wing it. Like, for example, I have my Artex markers. I love my Artex markers. But one thing I don't love about them is sometimes their tips get kind of crappy. Like if you accidentally press too hard with them. Like I do have about 2 out of my set of, I don't know how many I have. I have 2 out of my anime set that don't quite work right, and they never have since I got them. Every once in a while you just get some duds. But I really love using the rest of them. So sometimes you are just gonna get crappy art supplies mixed in with the good stuff. But you just gotta be patient and, you know, it'll all work out. So, I feel like I've talked everyone's ear off today. Let me know, what are you guys working on these days? What's something that you've been doing as a project? Maybe there's a project you need to do and you haven't done it yet. What's that about? Let me know in the comments below. So this is something that I definitely was not looking forward to doing, just because I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna take forever. But then like I started doing it and I ended up having so much fun swatching all my stuff, especially when my son wanted to help me. Like I thought that was really sweet. So at the end of the day, I'm glad I did it. Is there something like that that maybe you're like, oh my god, it seems like such an arduous task, and then you do it and you love it? So let me go ahead and switch the waters out here. I'm about halfway done and my water looks like green milk. We'll call it shamrock shake milk. Don't drink it though. Or at least if you do, don't say I told you to. I'm just kidding. But yeah, this is gonna be extremely helpful. I love how thick these Himi gouaches are too. Like whenever I see other artists using gouache, it always feels like it should be thick like that. So I welcome the thickness. Plus I feel like these jars are really, really packed full of color whenever you get them. They are kind of a pain in the butt to take the little tops off of, I will give you that. Some artists actually filmed that process. I was like, how? Some of them are so hard to get off. But yeah, they're pretty fun. I will recommend using a kind of like a scraping tool or something, and whenever you take off the wrapper, make sure that you rub something to get that extra paint off, otherwise you're just losing a bunch of paint that's stuck to the wrapper tops. So that is something that you definitely want to consider whenever you're opening these, because you don't want to waste your paint. Ooh, we're getting to like a Payne's gray or a Payne's blue. I love this color. Yes, I am all about that kind of blue. Delish. I will say the other thing, don't be surprised if your Himi gouache is like my whites get this weird oil on top of it, kind of like whenever we squeezed out those random gouaches and there was one that was really oily. Himi gouache gets like that too, but what I would recommend doing is take a little toothpick and just re-stir it up and the oils go right back in and it's not a big deal. And we're getting into some purples. Lovely, lovely. Oh, there's a big old spot of water there. Better clean it up. So I don't really want these to look like watercolors. See the full color. There we go. Let me get a new paper towel here real quick. That way I can drip any excess water on it. I'm a little scared. For my birthday I got an iPad. which is exciting. Not scared about that part. But I want to eventually kind of maybe experiment with going live at some point. Because I feel like that would be really cool, because I would be able to have the iPad on and I'd be able to see the comments. But I'm scared. I don't know. I see a lot of people using like StreamYard and stuff, and I don't know how StreamYard works. So I need to research that a bit and just kind of experiment. Because I know, I want to say Dee Dee might use StreamYard, or at least she did at one point in time. I know, does Yolande use StreamYard? I feel like she might. I don't know. I feel like most of the people I watch use StreamYard. I noticed at Carol's Quiet Corner today she was using it. So I just feel like a lot of people are using it. So it might be something that I will have to take a look at downloading and seeing how that works out. If not, I don't know if I can just do like a go live feature and just go about it like that. I'm not really sure. So if you have any tips about going live, I would love to know what your tips are. And like what things I need to know. Like, is there something I need to buy? Like, does StreamYard cost anything? I don't know. I haven't researched. So just give me some tips and that'd be great. But I really want to, like I said in my last one, I really want to build my channel. So that's why this week I really tried to make sure that I had 3 videos in the same week. Because I was watching a Denise Love video and she said that the sweet spot is 3 videos a week. And I do my videos kind of at random, so I don't know if that makes a difference or not. But I want to grow my channel. And I feel like it was growing a little bit, and then I don't know what happened, but I stopped getting growth. So I just want to kind of play with it and see what I can do to help it. Because I was getting a bunch of new subscribers, and then suddenly I wasn't. I don't know what happened. But it was annoying. Because that lull, it just makes you, like, whenever, like, one of the videos I worked really, really hard on, it was this really cool video where I took a scene from Dragon Ball Z and then redid the whole thing with Artex markers and just worked on the color shading and, like, using the same exact palette as the original artist and everything. That video only got 4 views. And I spent hours doing that. Because what you don't realize is before I record stuff, I usually practice it. And I had practiced it 4 times before I felt really confident enough to do it. And it was 4 different images. It wasn't all the same image at all. But, you know, I was like, oh my God, you know, this could be something really cool to record. And I would love to do that. Because people are always doing it with Studio Ghibli and stuff. So I was like, I'm going to do it with my favorite from when I was a child, which is Dragon Ball Z. And I used the hashtags, I did everything right from what my research was telling me, and it only got 4 views. So any advice that other streamers or other YouTubers have to offer, and I would be very open to it. In other news, on Monday, I am starting a new job, so I'm really excited with that. It's with the same company. So I work for Sun Life, and I'm moving from a provider operations role to an auditing role, which is kind of exciting because I used to audit whenever I was a training manager there. And whenever they kind of established how they wanted to do their business, I became just a training manager, and that didn't work out for me. So because I just wasn't getting stimulated enough. I was having, I don't know. But anyway, and then I went to provider operations to try to learn different things about insurance. And now I am going to try just auditing, see how that goes. One of my old teammates is actually part of the auditing team too, so that's really exciting because there's going to be a familiar, friendly face there. So I'm really excited about it. And I'm hoping that it goes well. Which, I mean, I don't know why I wouldn't. but you know, you never know. I know some people keep asking me about, so I will mention once again, as of the first of the year, I did decide not to continue my tattoo apprenticeship. I did really enjoy the apprenticeship while I had it. It's just, it took so much time away from my son. Like, I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. I wanted to be a mom, so. But I still really appreciate that shop, and my mentors were pretty awesome. So I'm glad I tried something new. It was pretty awesome while it lasted, which I did a solid 3 months, and I put in like over 200 hours in that 3 months. So I was in it to win it, girls and guys. But, you know, at the end of the day, my son's more important. And so is my husband, my family in general. But it was definitely a cool experience, and I 100% would do it again if I had a chance. Or, well, 100% would do it again if it was back then and I was getting the chance all over again. Like, wouldn't have changed a thing. It's kind of interesting, like, a lot of people don't realize how much work goes into being a tattoo artist. Like, I know some people get maybe mad, like, let's say you're doing a really small tattoo, and let's say a minimum's like $50 or something for that. People get mad about that price, but man, what you don't understand is the setup. The setup is extremely specific, and they buy all of their own setup stuff. The shop does not supply that to them. So each time they're setting up for a tattoo, they're using their own money to do that. Plus, you know, you have to pay for your rent for your area, and then you also have your deposits at the end of the day. Like, there's a lot that goes into it. So definitely gave me a whole new respect for tattoo artists for sure. All right, so we got our gouache done, and that's all the gouache I've got, really. So we just finished all my gouaches, so now I have a really nice full journal here. Something I'm going to think about adding in here is I'm going to think about, because I have other things, like I have tempura sticks, I have the other thing besides tempura sticks I have is pastels, and I would like to at least do my pan pastels in here. I think that would be really fun, so that I can see the exact shades and stuff. But at the same time, I wonder if it's worth it for the pan pastels to be in a book like this, because they really are pretty true to color. So I don't know. What's your opinion on that? Do you think I should swatch those? I probably wouldn't record it because I've already recorded this one. But yeah. And then some projects that are coming up is, like I said, I want to do that black paper with the shiny watercolors. I think that would be a lot of fun. Plus, you know, I wanted to do it as kind of like a thank you episode to my friend who got me those, because she didn't have to do that. So I definitely want to do that for sure. And then yeah, I just want to continue my journey. I've been watching a lot of, there's this YouTuber called Mitch Art who I shouted out in my last video. He has some really cool drawing videos I think helps with imagination. Unfortunately, when I grew up with my family, imagination wasn't really appreciated very much. So it's hard for me sometimes to come up with my own ideas. Like, I am definitely an artist who definitely needs references for things. And I struggle really bad whenever it comes to like imagining things without using a reference. So I'm hoping some of these techniques will help me be a little bit more creative in that respect. But yeah, so that's what I've been working on. Other than that, I don't really have anything else for you. Thank you so much if you stuck with me this long, and I really appreciate you. If you're new here, hi, I'm Keeks, and I'm happy to have you here. And if you're already a subscriber, I really appreciate you too, and thank you for coming back. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Bye.